A public defender is an attorney employed by the community and responsible for giving legal aid without cost to any person who seeks it and is financially unable to employ private counsel. It is his duty to defend those accused of crime until the issue is decided in a court of law. The first public defender's office in the United States was opened in January 1913. Over the years, other offices were opened. And today, that handful has grown to a network of lawyers cooperating to protect the rights of our clients. Tests the character of a public defender as much as an important murder case. The one you're about to see concerns a deputy of mine whose task was to defend a man he had every
Times 2 is 34 points.
You would. How's Bobby?
Oh, sleeping like a top. Well, what happened while I was gone?
Oh, what can you expect? I put down the word thief. He uses T to make it quit.
And double, don't forget that.
Isn't it just like him? The minute somebody mentions the word crook, he has to figure out a way to keep him out of jail.
Oh, that's the trouble with being a deputy public defender. Even your best friends hate you.
Only when your legal mind starts building up your Scrabble score.
Legal mind or just lack of competition?
Well, of all the conceited. Oh, go on, have your fun. Be a different story when Ken gets home, beats you as usual.
I'll get it.
It's your move.
Now, don't rush me.
Yes?
I'm Lieutenant Burroughs, Central Division. Is Mrs. Robker in?
I'm Mrs. Robker. Is anything wrong, Lieutenant?
Yes, I'm afraid so.
Ken, he's been hurt.
There was a holdup. Ken got the kid who did it, but, well, there was some shooting, and
I'll come right away.
we'd rather you wouldn't. Not just yet.
But I've got to. He needs me.
I'm afraid you can't help him now, Mrs. Robker. Nobody can.
Yes?
Mr. Prentice is here.
Oh, send him in, please.
wanted to see me?
Yes, sit down, Jim. How's Mrs. Robke?
She got through the services fairly well. She went to pieces when we got her home.
Anyone with her now?
Betty. Doc gave her a sedative.
Good. Sleep is the best thing in the world for her right now.
She'll wake up sooner or later. What happens then?
She'll pull through, if only for the boy's sake.
You sure? Someday, when he's old enough to understand, she can tell him how his father was shot by some sniveling young punk. Now, what's the use? It's over and done with.
And what about Tim Conroy? The sniveling young punk, as you so graphically put it.
What do you think? He'll get the gas chamber as he deserves.
Aren't you a bit premature with the verdict?
3 witnesses saw Conroy shoot Ken down in cold blood.
Witnesses have been known to be wrong.
You talk as though he might be innocent.
Technically, he is until found guilty by a jury of his peers, remember?
With a signed confession in the DA's hand? Don't make me laugh.
Whether Tim Conroy is innocent or guilty is beside the point. What's important is that he gets every protection that the law allows. That's why I'm assigning you to his defense.
You can't mean that.
I know exactly what you're thinking.
Ken Robke was my best friend. How can you expect me to defend the man who killed him?
This isn't a matter of personal feelings, Jim. This is a matter of justice. And I expect you to do everything within your power to see that it's done.
Conroy, my name is Prentice, Public Defender's Office.
Oh, they told me you'd come. I'm glad you're here. I was getting worried.
You got a lot to worry about.
Yeah, I know. Look, do you think there's a chance?
You'll get a fair trial, that much I promise. But you did kill a cop.
It was an accident. I didn't mean to do it.
You didn't mean to get caught either. That's why you used a gun to hold up the store.
I'm not trying to talk my way out of it. I admit I did wrong. When the cop hollered, I was scared. I only pulled the gun hoping to scare him, too. I figured he might duck back behind the truck and I'd have a chance to make a break. I started to back away. He fired. Felt the bullet hit me in the shoulder. Somehow the gun went off. I don't even remember pulling the trigger.
That's going to be pretty tough for me to explain to a jury. You put a slug 2 inches from his heart by reflex action.
I tell you, I wasn't even aiming at him. Even when he went down, I didn't think he was hit. I just turned and ran till he got me in the back of the knee.
You don't expect me to really swallow all this.
Well, it's the truth, whether you believe it or not.
Conroy, there were 3 witnesses. The truck driver, the newsboy, and the liquor store man. The district attorney has statements from them all, and not one of them backs you up.
Oh, why should they? They don't care what happens to me.
That's where you're wrong, Buster. They want the same thing I do. Justice. You'll get everything that's coming to you. You Pete Rungus?
Yeah. What's it to you?
Jim Prentice, Public Defender's Office. You got a minute?
Sure thing. What's on your mind?
You were a witness to the shooting of Sergeant Robke last Friday night.
Yeah, I saw it.
I read the transcript of your statement. It's pretty complete, but you didn't say who fired the first shot.
Did you ever wheel one of these rigs around the corner, Mr. Prentice?
Well, what's that got to do with it?
Well, if you had, you'd know I didn't have much time to notice what's going on the sidewalk. Till I heard the shots, and then I looked up.
Exactly what did you see then?
Well, the cop sort of grabbed his chest, then he went down.
Well, what about the kid? What was he doing?
Just standing there, facing the cop, then he turned and ran toward the truck.
Well, then you did get a good look at him as he came forward.
Yeah, pretty good.
Did you see any blood on the front of his coat?
No, that is, I don't think so.
Did he run awkwardly, as though he might have been wounded?
Looked to me like he was making pretty good time, till the cop cut him down.
Then in your opinion, he was shot twice while attempting to escape, and not before that time.
Look, mister, I'm only a truck driver, not a detective. I told you what I saw. You can draw your own conclusions.
Thanks. I already have.
Despite his personal feelings, or perhaps because of them, Jim Prentice technically did everything required of him as deputy public defender in the Conroy case. In short, he could conscientiously report not a single loophole in the case against the defendant. Everything pointed to a speedy conviction and mandatory death sentence.
Any messages for me, Rosie?
Your wife called, said she'd be with Mrs. Roebker all day. And Mr. Matthews will see you when he gets back from court.
Anything else?
A lady to see you. She wouldn't say what about.
You wanted to see me, miss?
Mr. Prentice, I'm Nora Conroy, Tim's wife.
Maybe we'd better step into my office. Have a seat, please.
Thank you.
I don't have to ask you why you're here.
They let me see Tim this morning. It was awful. He's so frightened.
It's not surprising. He killed a man.
But it was an accident. He told you that. You've talked to him, Mr. Prentice. Do you think he'd have the nerve to purposely kill a man?
He was cornered, Mrs. Conroy. No telling what a man will do in a spot like that.
But you're his attorney. If you have no faith, how can you expect to defend him?
Mrs. Conroy, when a man takes a gun in his hand and goes out to commit armed robbery, he's a potential killer, no matter how you look at it. If he hadn't killed this time, he would have done it the next, or the next after that. Now, I understand how you feel, but...
Do you, Mr. Prentice? Do you understand how it feels to stand by helplessly while the one you love...
I'm sorry, Mrs. Conroy. We're doing everything we can.
There must be somebody who saw what really happened. The newsboy, the old lady with the dog.
What old lady?
She was near the store. Tim told me he nearly fell over her when he was trying to get away.
I've talked to every witness we could find. If there was an old lady, why didn't someone else see her?
Tim saw her. That's good enough for me, and it might be good enough for a jury.
All the jury will be interested in is the fact that Tim Conroy killed a policeman in the course of an armed robbery. Now, under the state penal code...
But if you could prove it was an accident, he wouldn't have to die. The jury could recommend leniency.
It's possible he could get a life sentence.
A life sentence? Is that really so much to ask?
Funny, isn't it? We question Conroy for days and get nothing. Then the girl comes up with the one thing we've overlooked.
A witness who wasn't there. An old lady who doesn't even exist.
Are you trying to convince me, Jim, or yourself?
That story's a phony from start to finish. It has to be.
Are you sure? Have you tried to find the old lady?
I've asked a few questions.
Not very much when a man's life is at stake.
Look, Bart, I didn't want this case. If you're not satisfied with the way I've handled it, there's still time to pull me off.
Either way, I lose one of the best men I've got. Jim, if you don't do everything in your power to keep Conroy from going to the death chamber, a little part of you will die with him.
All right, you win. I'll start again from scratch. If there was an old lady, I'll find her. Don't blame me if her testimony makes it an airtight case for the district attorney. Hello there.
Oh, not you again. What is it this time?
Just a formality. I have to check a few more facts on the Conroy case.
What's to check? He killed the cop, didn't he? What a shame.
Mr. Singer, according to your testimony before the grand jury, you reached Sergeant Roebker within a few minutes of the shooting.
That's right.
Exactly how many other people did you see in the immediate vicinity?
Well, like I said, there was me and Tony Ambarato, he's the newsboy on the corner, and then the truck driver that grabbed the kid after he was hit.
Nobody else? Think hard.
No, nobody else.
How about the old lady with the dog?
I don't remember any old lady.
Are you sure of that? Would you be willing to swear to that?
Oh. You got me so confused, I don't know what to say. It all happened so fast. First the holdup, then the shooting. Why, I was so excited I could have run past my own mother and not even noticed her. Well, I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. Say, why don't you go across the street and talk to Tony, the newsboy?
Thanks, I'll do that.
This old lady, whoever she is, you figure she can help the kid beat the rap?
That's what Conroy claims.
What a shame.
That's all I can tell you. You know, when you've been peddling papers on the same corner for 13 years, you just take your regular customers for granted. They don't look any different than that bus or that building across the street. You just don't notice them.
Look, now, either she was here or not. Which is it?
I told you I'm not sure. Now, look. Sergeant Ropke was a very good friend of mine. And when I saw him laying on the ground, I wasn't thinking of anything else.
All right, we'll let it go at that for now. Now, look, this Mrs. Snyder you were telling me about, you know where she lives?
Well, she must be somewheres in the neighborhood. She doesn't miss a night. But if you're so anxious to find out, why don't you hang around till she does show up?
Come on, Roscoe. Time to get the paper.
I thought you said she always showed up by 10 o'clock.
Well, she usually does.
It's almost 10 of 11. You sure this whole thing isn't just a figment of your imagination?
Look, Mr. Prentice, you don't have to wait unless you want to. I got some papers I want to sell. Hey, look over there. The dog. That's hers.
Roscoe, I'm surprised at you. You know nice little dogs don't run away like that at this time of night.
Mrs. Snyder?
Oh.
If you don't mind, I'd like to ask you a few questions,
But
ma'am.
Roscoe and I haven't done anything wrong.
Oh, that's all right, lady. He knows that.
Well?
It'll only take a minute, ma'am. I just want to know if you were in front of the liquor store the night Officer Ropke was murdered.
Why, of course we were, weren't we, Roscoe? Scared my little baby almost to death.
Mrs. Snyder, think hard. Can you tell me who fired the first shot?
Why, the police officer, of course.
How can you be sure of that?
Well, the young boy was about as far...
Would you like me to make you some hot tea or cocoa?
Don't bother.
It'll just take a few minutes.
I said I didn't want it. Now go back to bed and leave me alone.
All right, Jim, if that's the way you want it.
I'm sorry, darling. It's just that, well, I'm on edge.
You have been for days. Don't you think it's about time you told me what's wrong?
I can't.
It's the Conroy case, isn't it?
Bet I don't want to talk about it. This is one thing I have to work out my own way.
Just a minute. Jim, what are you doing here so early?
I have to talk to you, Rena, and it couldn't wait.
Oh, come in.
Where's Bobby?
Oh, the school bus picked him up 10 minutes ago. Why?
I just wanted to say hello.
Ken used to drive him when he had the day shift. Bobby called him his own personal police escort. I'm sorry, Jim. didn't mean to go off the deep end like that. How about a cup of coffee? I think there's some still in the pot.
If you don't mind, Rena, I'd like to get something off my mind first. Sit down, please. The Conroy kid goes to trial in a couple of days.
I've been reading about it in the papers.
Then you know I have to defend him.
Ironic, isn't it? His best friend. Oh, forget that, Jim. It's your job. I know you have to do it.
I thought I could keep my personal feelings out of it. Even a trial would be a mere formality. I wasn't even going to challenge the DA's contention that Conroy deliberately shot and killed Ken while resisting arrest.
Stop it, Jim. Don't you think I know Ken died? Haven't I heard it and read it at least 100 times?
But you haven't heard it all, Rena. Sure, Conroy killed your husband, but it wasn't deliberate. His gun did go off, like he said, when Ken's bullet hit him in the shoulder.
How long have you known about this?
Since yesterday. I found a new witness. If I let her testify, the jury might recommend leniency.
If you let her testify. Jim, do you know what you're saying?
I thought I could work this thing out by myself, but I can't. What should I do, Rena? What should I do?
I think you've decided that already, Jim. Or you wouldn't be here now. Jim, would it help any if I asked the court to give him leniency, too?
You'd be willing to do that?
Would sending Tim Conroy to the gas chamber ever bring Ken back to me again? He always played it on the level, Jim. This is the least we can do for him now.
Thanks, Rena. I once told Conroy that I'd see that he got everything that was coming to him. Maybe I was a lot closer to the truth than I knew at the time.
Because of eyewitness testimony and a plea for leniency on the part of Ken's wife, Tim Conroy escaped the death penalty. He's now serving a life sentence in the state penitentiary. By placing his duty above all else, Jim Prentice did more than save the life of a man he had every reason to condemn. He also saved himself. The case you have just seen was brought to a fair and just conclusion because of the efforts of a public defender.